We will now conclude with part 3 for transition, looking at some online resources. Patton has an extensive amount of resources for secondary transition as well as other disability categories. So you would go to the Patton website at www.patton.net and you would select secondary transition from the website. And there are many, many resources that you can share. So I am going to see if my hyperlinks work. Yes, you can get one of the resources that you can find when you go there is the family one-pager guides. So the family one-pager guides are great to share instructionally with a student as well as send home with a parent. So there are 9 of them. One of them is something that we've talked about in part 2, which was the entitlement versus eligibility. So that's a really good side-by-side document that describes that process. So both students and parents and educators are fully aware of the difference between what students are entitled to in the K to 12 setting versus what they may be eligible for once they leave high school. The second family one-pager is exploring the option of a 2 or 4-year college. So those are things that are specific to a student with a disability that you would want to go through and consider. So you as a paraprofessional may be the person sitting one-on-one with the student to kind of go over that after the teacher has discussed it as an option. Really good information to share with parents as well. Financial fundamentals is about dealing with basic finances and maybe some discussion starters that you can join, have a conversation with a student or a group of students. Um, Many of our students are from families that maybe they are not currently working. So they wonder, like, why do I have to work if my family doesn't work or if my parents don't work? So this is a really good guide to help them understand why it is important to be a working member of our society. The fifth one is job skills. So this would relate to some of the basic skills that we would need to be getting ready for work. So those are things that we would want to work on while they're in high school, while they're getting direct instruction, and we could encourage them. One of the other modules coming up is going to be related to this. It's going to be supporting some employable skills for learners. The sixth guide is post-secondary education expectations. So again, if you have a student that has a goal of attending a post-secondary training program or an education setting, this would be a really good document to go over with them and share with parents about what are the expectations in the post-secondary setting. The next one is promoting independent living while they're still in school. So what are the things that we can do in the school setting to encourage our learners to be able to handle everyday tasks? I know this is a challenge. I have 2 sons of my own that are actually transition age, but they don't have IEPs. But making sure that they are managing those things and doing their own independent living skills is a challenge sometimes. Getting them to do things like calling for appointments or scheduling appointments, taking medicines, just keeping their room clean, waking up on time, all those things. Another guide is preparing for employment. So this again would be something that we'd want to share with all of our students, because our goal in Pennsylvania is to try to make sure all students are achieving employment and working on a transition plan to get there. And then the final one pager is understanding self-advocacy. So self-advocacy is when you are able to describe your disability, able to advocate for what you need to be successful, not demanding things, but actually saying that this was what helps me to be successful. So these are really, really good resources, and I would encourage you to utilize them in your role as a paraprofessional. Another website is secondarytransition.org. I believe the look of this site may be changing, or it has changed since I've created this presentation. So just be aware, so if something happens and it does not work, please contact me and let me know. But there are a lot of resources on here. And if you look towards the bottom of the picture that you see on the screen, you'll see that you can pick different topics. So there's information about agencies and supports, there's information about disabilities, There's financial information, there's employment information, and then you can search it by the age of the learner. So if you're working with younger children, I think it goes as low as grade age 10. So you'll see like a 10 to 12 tab, a 12 to 14 tab. So you can pick different resources, and it kind of just helps you to think about transition, think about what they're getting currently in the school setting and what their plans are and interests are for the future. Another thing that is really timely, many of our students have devices of their own. So there is an app for planning for your future, and it's a checklist. So students can find this on whatever their device is. They can find it in Google Play, or they can find it in the Apple App Store. And what you want to look for is you want to just search for PA planning for your future. And then what they can do is they can use this as a checklist as they're preparing for education, independent living, and employment. So this is something that you can share, maybe help the student download onto their device. If you are working with your own children or grandchildren as a paraprofessional, this is something they could download and something to share with families. It is also in hard copy if you prefer that, but the app is definitely something that students should be familiar with. Transition Discoveries is a big initiative right now, and a lot is going to be coming out. A lot of what I do on a day-to-day basis with the school districts is related around Transition Discoveries. It has a very big youth presence on that website. So if you have the opportunity with the student that you're working with to just search for Transition Discoveries and have them explore that site. You can look at it as a youth and find resources that are written in youth terms. And then you can look at it through a professional lens and find information for as a parent or as a professional. So Transition Discoveries is another great online resource. This is my information. Well, actually, no, this is not my information yet. This is Schuylkill IU 29. I work really hard to try to make sure I have current resources on there. So if you go to our iu29.org website and select departments and then select special education, on the left-hand side, you would select training and consultation. And then again, on the left-hand side, transition. And on that page, you will find a lot of links and a lot of resources. There are recorded sessions that were done for parents and paraprofessionals last year and this year. So you're welcome to, perhaps you needed a couple more hours. Maybe you can get permission to view the recording. I don't know if that would be possible because I don't have a way of tracking your completion of it. But there are some resources that you can definitely utilize for yourself, share with students, and share with any families that you deal with. So don't forget to look on our own homepage, Schuylkill IU29. And then my contact information is listed here. So after you finish this module and you complete your submission for the course to get credit, if you have any further questions, do not hesitate to contact me at extension 1258 if you're in the building here at Maple Avenue campus. Email is also very efficient. We check our email very frequently. So please definitely check that out. But I am definitely interested in helping you with anything that would relate to secondary transition for the students you serve. So again, thank you so much for your time and attention to this. If you have any further questions, you can type them in the box on the form before you hit submit. Okay, thank you so much for your time and for your attention, and I look forward to seeing you in upcoming modules.